boxing match. I was trying to kill that guy. And I wanted a second chance to get him. And that broke my heart once I found religion. And I fell in love with him later on. We became phone talkers.
The pantheon of sporting icons. George Foreman. In the pantheon of sporting icons, few figures cast a shadow as long and as complex as George Foreman. Born on January 10, 1949, in the crime-riddled neighborhoods of Houston, Texas, he emerged from poverty to become a two-time heavyweight champion, a spiritual leader, a billionaire entrepreneur, and as recently revealed, a man whose hidden life threatened to unravel his carefully crafted legacy. On March 21, 2025, at the age of 76, Foreman passed away, leaving behind and filled with secrets so explosive that FBI agents spent weeks sifting through encrypted files, journals, and artifacts that painted a picture of a man far removed from the genial grill salesman and boxing legend the world knew. To understand Foreman's life is to journey through a labyrinth of triumph, reinvention, and shadows, where every punch, thrown, every sermon preached, and every grill sold masked a deeper, darker truth. The St. of Houston, a boy's descent into fury. Foreman's childhood was a study in survival. The fifth of 7 children in a single-parent household, he grew up in the 3rd Ward of Houston, a place where poverty and violence were constants. His father, William Foreman, left the family when George was just 3, leaving his mother, Nancy, to work multiple jobs to feed them. "We had nothing," Foreman later wrote in his memoir, Call Me George. No food, no clothes, no hope. By his teens, George turned to petty crime, stealing cars, selling drugs, and fighting in street brawls. "I was angry," he admitted. "The world was against me, so I fought back." The 3rd Ward was a microcosm of the broader societal issues that plagued urban America in the 1950s and 1960s. Racial tensions were high, economic opportunities were scarce, and the cycle of poverty seemed unbreakable. For young George, the streets became his classroom, and violence his language. He was a tall, imposing figure even in his youth, and his physical presence often intimidated others. However, beneath the tough exterior lay a deeply troubled soul, haunted by the absence of a father figure and the constant struggle for survival. A turning point. The Job Corps and Doc Broadus. His turning point came at 16 when he joined the Job Corps, a government program for disadvantaged youth. There, he met Doc Broadus, a former boxer who saw potential in the raw, towering teenager. Broadus taught Foreman discipline, channeling his rage into controlled power. "Doc didn't just teach me how to punch," Foreman said. "He taught me how to live." Under Broadus's guidance, Foreman's natural athleticism and sheer brutality blossomed. By 1968, at 19, he was an Olympian. The Job Corps was a pivotal institution in Foreman's life. It provided him with structure, education, and a sense of purpose. The Amo Boer program was designed to help young men and women from disadvantaged backgrounds gain skills and find employment. For Foreman, it was a lifeline. Doc Broadus, his mentor, was more than just a coach. He was a father figure and a role model. Broadus instilled in Foreman the values of hard work, perseverance, and self-discipline. These lessons would serve Foreman well throughout his life, even as he navigated the complexities of fame and fortune. 2. Golden Moment, Mexico City, 1968. At the Mexico City Olympics, Foreman's ferocity stunned the world. In the heavyweight final, he faced Jonas Cepelis of the Soviet Union, a formidable opponent. The fight lasted just 90 seconds. Foreman unleashed a barrage of punches so relentless, Cepelis collapsed to the canvas, unconscious. The victory was a catharsis. As the gold medal draped over his neck, Foreman, overcome with emotion, waved an American flag around the ring, tears streaming down his face. "That flag was my family," he later said. "It was my way of saying, I'm here." The 1968 Olympics were a watershed moment for Foreman. They marked his transition from a troubled youth to a national hero. The gold medal was a symbol of his triumph over adversity, and the act of waving the American flag was a powerful statement of patriotism and pride. However, the victory also brought with it the weight of expectations. Foreman was now in the spotlight, and the world was watching his every move. The pressure to succeed in the professional ranks was immense, and the stakes were higher than ever. The rise. From pro debut to the Rumble in the Jungle, Foreman's pro career was meteoric. He went undefeated in his first 37 fights, using his 6'4", 220-pound frame as a battering ram. His knockout of Joe Frazier in 1973, a then unbeaten contender, set up the most anticipated fight of his career, the 1974 Rumble in the Jungle against Muhammad Ali in Zaire. The world saw it as a clash of titans, Ali's wit versus Foreman's power. But the fight became a masterclass in strategy. Ali's rope-a-dope tactic left Foreman exhausted. In the 8th round, Ali's flurry of punches sent him crashing. The loss was devastating. "I thought my life was over," Foreman said. "I didn't just lose the title, I lost myself." The Rumble in the Jungle was more than just a boxing match. It was a cultural phenomenon. The event drew international attention, and the build-up to the fight was filled with hype and drama. Ali, known for his charisma and verbal sparring, had been taunting Foreman in the lead-up to the fight, calling him the Mummy and the Gorilla. Foreman, on the other hand, was the quiet, brooding force, known for his relentless power and intimidating presence. The fight itself was a testament to Ali's strategic genius. By allowing Foreman to tire himself out, Ali set the stage for a decisive victory. The loss was a crushing blow to Foreman's confidence and left him questioning his future in the sport. The fall, darkness, and redemption. After the Ali defeat, Foreman spiraled. He drank heavily, gambled away millions, and even tried acting in a low-budget film, The Champ, where he played himself. By 1977, he was bankrupt, divorced, and emotionally shattered. "I was a ghost," he admitted. "I had nothing left." The period following the Rumble in the Jungle was a dark chapter in Foreman's life. The loss to Ali had shattered his sense of invincibility, and the subsequent downward spiral into alcoholism and financial ruin only compounded his struggles. His marriage to Shelley Joseph, which had already been strained by the pressures of fame, ended in a bitter divorce. The separation from his children added another layer of pain to his already fractured life. Then, a near-fatal car accident in 1977 became his turning point. "I saw my life flash before my eyes," he said. "I realized I had to change." He embraced Christianity, found solace in prayer, and retired from boxing at 28. "God didn't save me to quit," he said. "He saved me to rebuild." He became a minister, founding the Church of the Lord Jesus Christ in Houston, where he preached to addicts, ex-convicts, and the forgotten. "I wanted to heal," he said. "Not just bodies, but souls." Foreman's conversion to Christianity was a profound transformation. It marked a new beginning, a chance to leave behind the excesses of his past and find a new purpose. His ministry became a platform for reaching out to those who, like him, had hit rock bottom. He used his own experiences to inspire others, sharing stories of redemption and hope. However, his spiritual journey was not without controversy. In 1982, he delivered a sermon condemning LGBTQ+ individuals as sinners, sparking backlash. "I was young in faith," he later apologized. "I learned that love doesn't mean agreement. It means understanding." The comeback, a 45-year-old champion. In 1987, at 38, Foreman shocked the world by returning to boxing. Critics called him a relic, but he trained obsessively. He studied younger fighters, adopting a tactical approach that combined his power with precision. In 1990, he knocked out Jerry Cooney in 90 seconds, reviving his reputation. The pinnacle came on November 5, 1994, when he faced 26-year-old Michael Moorer for the heavyweight title. The fight was a chess match. Moorer attacked furiously, but Foreman countered with calculated jabs and body shots. In the 10th round, a right hand sent Moorer reeling. "This is for all the haters," Foreman screamed, tears streaming down his face. At 45, he became the oldest heavyweight champion in history, a feat that inspired middle-aged athletes globally. "Age is just a number," he declared. "If you've got heart, you can do anything." Foreman's comeback was a testament to his resilience and determination. At 38, he was considered past his prime, but he defied the odds and returned to the top of the sport. The victory over Moorer was more than just a win. It was a vindication of his belief in himself and his abilities. The triumph resonated with people of all ages, inspiring them to pursue their dreams regardless of age or obstacles. The Grill, from poverty to billions. Foreman's post-boxing career was a masterclass in reinvention. In 1994, he launched the George Foreman Grill, a low-fat cooking appliance inspired by his quest to feed his large family healthier meals. Skeptics dismissed it as a gimmick, but Foreman's folksy infomercials, where he sweat through demonstrations, made it a sensation. By 2000, it had sold 100 million units, earning him $200 million. The brand expanded into cookbooks, kitchen gadgets, and even a line of vitamins, each marketed with his folksy charm. The George Foreman Grill was a revolutionary product that changed the way people cooked at home. It was simple, efficient, and, most importantly, affordable. Foreman's down-to-earth personality and relatable marketing approach made the grill a household name. He appeared in countless infomercials, demonstrating the product's ease of use and health benefits. The grill's success allowed Foreman to achieve financial independence and build a business empire that extended beyond the boxing ring. However, success came at a cost. In 2005, he faced backlash for endorsing a miracle weight loss product that critics called a scam. "I believed in it," he defended. "Turned out, I was wrong." He settled lawsuits and donated profits to charity, but the scandal lingered. The controversy surrounding the weight loss product was a reminder that even successful entrepreneurs can make mistakes. Foreman's endorsement of the product, which was later found to be ineffective and potentially harmful, damaged his reputation and raised questions about his judgment. Despite the setback, he remained committed to his principles and worked to rebuild trust with his audience. The Shadows, FBI's shocking discoveries. Foreman's death in 2025 revealed a darker side. FBI agents, investigating routine tax filings, found his mansion in Houston brimming with secrets. The journals, hidden in a locked safe, were 20 journals detailing his inner turmoil. One entry from 1977 read, "I'm a fraud. I can't preach love if I can't love myself." Another from 1995 confessed, "The Moorer fight wasn't just about boxing, it was about proving I'm still human." The vaults. Agents uncovered encrypted ledgers detailing offshore accounts, illegal betting on underground fights, and payments. To shady promoters, a 2010 journal entry admitted, "I needed money to hide my past." The artifacts. In a basement room, they found artifacts looted from Zaire after the rumble in the jungle, including Ali's gloves, a Congolese ceremonial spear, and a blood-stained robe. Foreman's notes called them war trophies to remind me of my failures. The letters. Over 100 letters from estranged children begged for reconciliation. One from his daughter, April, dated 2020, read, "You're famous for grills and boxing, but you forgot how to cook a family." Foreman's widow, Erdy, called the findings heartbreaking, but admitted he carried a lot of weight. The FBI's discoveries shed light on a side of Foreman that was unknown to the public. The journals revealed a man struggling with self-doubt and internal conflict, while the encrypted ledgers exposed a web of financial deceit. The artifacts from Zaire suggested a dark fascination with his past, and the letters from his children highlighted the emotional toll of his absence. These revelations painted a complex portrait of a man who, despite his outward success, was haunted by his own demons. The contradictions, a man of many masks. Foreman's life was a tapestry of contradictions. He preached love yet funded underground fights. He sold grills as a health advocate while secretly smoking cigars. He championed mental health yet struggled with depression. "I wasn't perfect," he said in a 20/20 interview, "but I kept fighting." His final years were spent mentoring young fighters like Deontay Wilder. "He taught me resilience," Wilder said, but he never talked about his regrets. In 2024, Foreman hinted at his hidden life in a cryptic interview. "I've lived many lives. Not all of them are pretty." Foreman's contradictions were a reflection of the human condition. He was a man who achieved great things, but was also deeply flawed. His public persona was one of warmth and triumph, but his private life was a tempest of love, neglect, and unresolved pain. This duality made him a complex and compelling figure, one who inspired admiration and criticism in equal measure. The legacy. A beacon and a cautionary tale. When Foreman died, tributes poured in. Mike Tyson called him the greatest comeback story. Elon Musk praised his relentless reinvention. Yet the FBI's findings forced a reckoning. Was he a hero or a hypocrite? A visionary or a con artist. His family insists his legacy is defined by good, the millions fed by his grill, the lives saved through his charities, the young boxers he mentored. Judge him by his light, not his shadows, said his son, George Foreman Jr. But the truth is murkier. Foreman's story reminds us that greatness often walks hand in hand with flaws. He was a man who beat the odds, yet let pride and secrecy consume him. He wasn't just a boxer or a businessman, said biographer David Remnick. He was a mirror, reflecting humanity's potential and its pitfalls. The final punch, a life unboxed. George Foreman's life was a fight against poverty, against doubt, against his own demons. He won championships, built empires, and touched millions. Yet in his final moments, he faced the ultimate opponent, his own legacy. The FBI's findings may tarnish his image, but they also humanize him. He was a man who clawed his way from the gutter to the stratosphere, only to trip over his own ambition. His story isn't just about punches thrown or grills sold. It's about the universal struggle to reconcile who we are with who we want to be. As the world mourns the man who proved age is just a number, we're reminded that even legends are made of flesh and shadow. George Foreman's legacy isn't just in his gold medals or his billions. It's in the lesson he taught us all. That resilience isn't about perfection. It's about getting back up no matter how many times you fall. Marriages, love, struggles, and the search for stability. Foreman's personal life was as tumultuous as his rise to fame. His first marriage, to Shelley Joseph, began in 1968, just months after his Olympic victory. Shelley, a Houston native and mother of his first child, George Jr., became his anchor during his early boxing career. But the pressures of fame soon frayed their bond. Foreman's relentless training schedule, his growing ego, and his struggles with depression after losing to Ali drove a wedge between them. He was never home, Shelley later said in a rare interview. When he was distant, like he was always fighting someone. In 1976, was bitter. Shelley claimed Foreman had abandoned their 3 children, George Jr., Terrence, and Marvis. In a 2018 memoir, she wrote, "He built empires, but he forgot how to build a family." Shelley's account of their marriage provides a poignant glimpse into the personal toll of Foreman's rise to fame, the demands of his boxing career, and the psychological impact of his loss to Ali created a rift that ultimately led to the breakdown of their relationship. Shelley's accusations of abandonment highlight the challenges of balancing a demanding public life with the responsibilities of parenthood. His second marriage, to Erde Plesko in 1980, was his longest, lasting until his death. Erde, a Dutch-born nurse he met while preaching in Europe, became his rock during his post-boxing hiatus. They had 7 children together, including sons Brandon and Terrence, and daughters April and Janelle. Yet even this union had its cracks. Erde's journals, discovered by the FBI, revealed her frustration with his workaholic tendencies. "He's always chasing something," she wrote in 1998. "Even when he's here, he's gone." Their relationship also faced scrutiny in 2003, when tabloids alleged Foreman fathered a child out of wedlock with a staff member at his Houston church. Foreman denied the claims publicly, but later admitted privately, "I made mistakes. I wasn't always the man I should have been." The allegations of infidelity added another layer of complexity to Foreman's personal life. While he and Erde remained married, the incident highlighted the strain that fame and success can place on a relationship. Erde's journals provide a candid look at the challenges she faced as the wife of a public figure, balancing the demands of their large family with Foreman's ambitious pursuits. The children, a legacy of love and loss. Foreman's 10 children became both his pride and his regret. He often joked that his biggest achievement was raising a family, but his absence left deep wounds. George Foreman Jr., his son, struggled with addiction and criminal charges, including a 2005 arrest for cocaine possession. In a 2012 interview, George Jr. said, "My dad's in the ring or the church, he's never in the living room." He later reconciled with Foreman, but died of a heart attack in 2020 at age 53, a loss Foreman called the hardest punch I'll ever take. April Foreman. His daughter with Erde became a vocal critic of his public persona. In a 2022 memoir, Behind the Grill, she wrote, We were props in his story. He'd pose with us for photos but never asked how we were doing. The FBI found over 50 unsent letters from her in his mansion, begging for his attention. Terrence Foreman, a former NFL player, he struggled with depression and later became an advocate for mental health, echoing his father's journey. He fought the world in the ring, Terrence said, but he couldn't fight his own demons. The FBI's discovery of a family vault in Foreman's mansion revealed shocking details. Millions in trust funds for his children, but also encrypted files detailing his guilt. A 2015 journal entry read, "I've given them money, but what they want is time. I can't give them that." Foreman's relationship with his children was marked by a complex mix of love and neglect. While he provided for them financially, his absence and the demands of his career left many of them feeling abandoned. The unsent letters and encrypted files, uncovered by the FBI, highlight the deep-seated pain and regret that Foreman carried throughout his life. The dark side, addiction, adultery, and the cost of fame. Foreman's public image was one of moral rectitude, but his private life was riddled with secrets, drug use. In a 2019 interview, he admitted to using cocaine during his comeback years. "I needed the edge," he said. "I stopped when I realized it was harming my family." Adulterous affairs. Urdi's journals detailed multiple infidelities, including a years-long relationship with a church secretary. "He'd say he was at meetings," she wrote, "but I knew where he really was." Gambling debts. After losing to Ali, Foreman's addiction to high-stakes poker nearly bankrupted him. He once pawned his Olympic gold medal to repay a $200,000 debt, a secret he kept until his death. These struggles took a toll on his children. In a 2023 interview, his son Marvis said, "He'd preach about love on Sundays but cheat, gamble, and smoke cigars in private." It was confusing. Foreman's private vices were a stark contrast to his public persona. The pressure of maintaining his image as a moral and spiritual leader while grappling with personal demons created a profound sense of dissonance. His drug use, infidelities, and gambling debts were not only a reflection of his inner turmoil, but also a reminder of the high price of fame. The final years. Reconciliation and regrets. In his final decade, Foreman attempted to mend fences. He hosted family reunions, funded his children's businesses, and even starred in a 2020 documentary, The Man Behind the Grill, where he tearfully apologized for his absence. "I was chasing titles and money," he said. "I forgot that love is earned, not won." Yet reconciliation remained elusive. April Foreman declined to attend his funeral, citing too many unanswered questions. His estranged son, Terrence Jr., accused him of using us as a branding tool. The FBI's revelation, a father's hidden guilt. The FBI's search of Foreman's mansion uncovered a trove of personal artifacts that painted a man drowning in regret. The family room. A locked basement space contained over 500 unsent letters to his children filled with apologies. One to April read, "I'm sorry I wasn't there. I wanted to be a hero, but I was just scared." The trust funds. While his children received millions, encrypted files revealed he'd secretly funneled $20 million to an offshore account, fearing his family would squander it. The photo albums. Hundreds of photos of his children were tucked in drawers, untouched. A note on one read, "They were my greatest fights, and I lost them all." Urdi later revealed that Foreman had been preparing a memoir titled, "Fatherhood, My Greatest Defeat." He knew he'd failed them, she said, but he didn't know how to fix it. The final punch. Legacy of a broken hero. George Foreman's death in 2025 brought a reckoning. While the world celebrated his triumphs, his family grappled with a legacy of absence. The funeral. Held at his Houston church, it was a mix of celebration and sorrow. His children sat separately, their faces etched with pain. Urda delivered a eulogy that cut to the core. He was a champion in the ring, but a flawed father at home. Let's remember him as human, not a saint. The trust lawsuit. His children sued over the offshore funds, claiming they were denied their inheritance. The case, ongoing in 2026, has become a tabloid sensation. The unsent letters. Released posthumously, they revealed a man torn between ambition and love. "I loved them," one entry read, "but I loved boxing, God, and money more." Epilogue. The Man in the Mirror. George Foreman's story is one of duality. A man who gave millions hope but failed to nurture his own family. A spiritual leader who struggled with sin. A billionaire who bought love but couldn't earn it. His legacy isn't just in the ring or the grill. It's in the cracks between his public triumphs and private failures. He was a paradox, said biographer David Remnick. A hero who couldn't be a hero at